Hey everyone, this is Phoebe Smith with Love Relationships Real Talk. On today's episode, we'll be talking about how to master the role of the manager. The letter that was written by a viewer that inspired this role reads like this. My girlfriend has 2 kids. She is an amazing mother. I have a son and share custody with his mom. My girlfriend includes him into our family dynamic so beautifully and graciously that he thinks of her as his mother also. He calls her Mama 2. That's so cute, meaning Mama 2, M-A-M-A, and then the number 2. So what's the problem, you ask? The problem is that she is so controlling. She's so controlling that she doesn't consider or leave room for me to be the patriarch in our family. She doesn't want to compromise with me or take my ideas and opinions seriously. She'll make decisions for the family and not consult me. She has great ideas and loves us all, but I don't like how she ignores all of our input, especially mine. For example, she wants the kids to participate in activities whether they want to do them or not. I believe that kids should be able to choose what they want to do and decide what they like. For example, my son wants to run track, but she wants him to play basketball. The seasons are at the same time. So for the last 2 years, my son, to make her happy, has chosen to play basketball. I don't like the pressure that puts on him to make her happy. The girls love to dance, but she wants them to cheer. These things are minor compared to the bigger decisions that she takes over. Sometimes I want to hang out with my son alone, and she argues that it leaves no time to spend as a family. Since my son comes every other weekend and only 2 nights during the week, she thinks that we should all spend time together, which I totally agree with, but not every weekend. Please help me with this issue before I break our family apart. I would hate to do that because I know she loves us all, but I am feeling an urgency to save myself and my son. I have some suggestions as we look at what it is to live with a person who plays the role of the manager. It's a hard one to balance because they bring so many great things to the love relationship dynamic, and in this case also to the family. However, sometimes the manager role, who needs to be very on point, very focused, and in control, negates the desire of other people in the family to step up and also contribute. In case of the woman being the manager and the male not having that role, it really wreaks havoc with the male-female power dynamic because it sort of emasculates men when women are too controlling and take over every aspect of the decision-making in a relationship. And sometimes a lot of men end up conceding that power to the woman all the time. And then that puts pressure on the woman also. But then the male doesn't get the opportunity to grow and flourish as the patriarch in the family. So I gave that little eye gesture in the beginning because a lot of times men do want to be the head of the household and the patriarch in a family, but when they're living with a dominant personality in the woman, it's very difficult to maintain that because it seems like a fight all the time or a struggle, a power struggle all the time. So I want to address that dynamic as well in my feedback to the viewer. So this is what we're dealing with when we live with a manager personality. So one might think that the coach and the manager are synonymous because they both have dominant and controlling personalities. In a way, that's true. So if you want to extend your options for strategies as a manager, you can also check out the video that I made on how to master the role of the coach. But in my mind, the manager has significant differences because they are the keeper of the overall vision and direction of the relationship, which is comforting and fosters the feeling of security for all the players, for people in a love relationship and within a family. The manager, in fact, is the brain center in the body of the relationship dynamic, if you will. The coach is more like the muscle or the structure and the frame for the relationship body. And then you have your peacemaker, which I have to speak to because they are the heart and the soul within the relationship body. And you can also look at the video about how to master the role of being a peacemaker in a future video. So back to the manager. The manager is very focused and all about business. Don't we all need that person in our relationships? This doesn't leave room, though, for flexibility, unexpected changes, or input from their partner because they're very attached to their vision unfolding as they've planned. The great thing about the manager is that they have so many great things going for them that really all they have to do is to redirect that powerful energy and focus toward the goal of bringing balance into their love relationship. There may be an issue not listening for our manager. So personally, I'm a fan of the shock treatment. Yes, that's true. I said it. I'm a fan of the shock treatment. The viewer suggested that they are possibly at the precipice of leaving the relationship. Now, the manager would be shocked, but it's like, why are you leaving this relationship? All the stuff that I've done for your son? Yeah. I hear that conversation already. But the manager sometimes is blinded by their focus that they don't see how their actions are affecting the other people that they're interacting with. So they most likely might be blindsided by you telling them that you want to end the relationship. But sometimes that is what exactly needs to happen in order for people to stop in their tracks, kick up some dust, and let them know that you're serious, that you're ready to set boundaries, and that you want participation and input in your family dynamic, and that your input is just as important as theirs. Because even though the manager's input and ideas and focus and vision for the family or for the love relationship might be just stellar, it doesn't open up a portal for the other people in the relationship to give input or to flourish and to grow in their own right as human beings. I suggest that you first sit down and write down all of your non-negotiables that are being ignored or discounted in this relationship. Then you take that list to your partner and you clearly state what those things are. If they listen, then that's great. You can proceed by helping them redirect that energy and focus into creating a more balanced relationship. But if they don't, you might need to take that step and tell them, I can no longer live and grow inside of this relationship as it stands right now because it's not fulfilling my needs as an individual. This is what you may need to do to let your strong-willed, stubborn manager partner understand that they need to humble themselves and take your needs into consideration. One caveat that I have for this, never leave in anger. When you leave in anger, things are too emotional in order for your needs to be clearly stated. And in this situation, those needs need to be very precise and specific. Because like I said, there are a lot of great things going on in this manager-driven relationship. It's not like things are off the rails, but your needs are not being addressed. And that's what you want to get to. Leaving angry doesn't leave space or opportunity for resolution that promotes growth within the relationship for both parties. You may get back together if you leave in anger. 9 times out of 10 people do, because they miss each other, they love each other, and there's so many great things about this relationship that they're gonna want to have as a part of their life. And they tell themselves, well, maybe I can deal with this or that. But if it is going against even just one of your non-negotiables, then that's the thing that's going to continue to persist and make you feel unhappy and unheard and unappreciated in this relationship. The main point to share here is that your love's way of being is appreciated and very advantageous for the relationship dynamic. And that's not lost to you. There are other aspects that actually break down the relationship dynamic for you in spite of those things. If they cannot hear this truth, or they listen and then proceed as usual, then leaving may be what needs to happen to let them know that you are serious and your input should be taken seriously as well. As a side note, I would also try to ask questions of my manager partner to see where their manager drive derives. Is it fear of failure based, which might be rooted in an unpredictable childhood? Knowing this may make it easier to address those concerns as you begin to share the role of manager in your relationship. If you don't work hard to make sure that those concerns are not being taken care of or addressed for your manager partner, they will not be able to trust you in decision-making processes. Therefore, they will not give up that control that they have in the relationship so that you both can flourish and grow. Every relationship dynamic needs someone who has some manager in them, or the team may lack direction or focus. But the most ideal is that each team member needs to be willing to hone this manager character in each of them so that all of the responsibility does not fall on the shoulders of one person inside of the relationship. They feel that pressure too, even though they feel like they can handle it. But for the sake of balance and wellness in the relationship, everyone needs to step up and be willing to bring the manager in them out. It's a lot of responsibility and extremely demanding. Ask the manager. So you need to come with your A game before you come to the manager trying to shift the power dynamic in the relationship. You can't just complain and then let shit fall apart. That's not going to work. If you're not willing, you might as well move on to the next one. If you're not willing to take on the role and responsibility that the manager does that keeps things on track. I hope this helps, and I remind you to think and assess before you leap, and then just go for it. I hope that you will continue to work on your relationship in the spirit of love and wellness. Please don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section, like my videos, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time on Love Relationships. Real talk.